The Tucker telephone was an electroshock apparatus used in Arkansas Tucker State Prison in the 1960s and 1970s. Inmate doctors would use this torture device on unruly prisoners. The device worked by placing a ground wire around the big toe of a prisoner, while clamping the hot wire to the person's genitals. The wires were then hooked up to a telephone that had been modified to send electric shocks. As the phone was being cranked, piercing electrical currents were sent throughout the prisoner's body. In prison slang, a long-distance call was a series of electric shocks in a row. Any inmate that passed out from the experience would be splashed.
八字解读人生，风水改变命运。大家好，居士从业风水26年，很多人通过我的调节都获得了巨大成功。针对八字测算、风水布局、命理分析、事业财运、手相面相、感情婚姻有独到专研见解。如果你的财运不佳、情感不顺、诸事烦心，原主可添加本居士微信266-8213511帮你调节化解。记住微信266。
Cell claimed that they stripped him naked and hung him upside down in the chair for 8 to 12 hours a day for 4 days. He says the pain was so excruciating that he begged his captors to kill him. He still has uncontrollable twitching as a result of the torture. Flaying, also known as skinning, is an old torture that dates back to 883 BC. It involves different methods to remove the skin from the victim's entire body. The most common form of flaying is to use a knife, inserting the sharp blade just below the chin. The cuts start at the face and work all the way down to the toes. In some cases, the skin would be taken off in small sections and be performed slowly until completely done. What's left is a still living person with exposed muscles, ligaments, and bones, but the face skin still intact. A person could live a few hours up to a day after the skin removal process. Another method involved being severely sunburned and then having the skin peeled off. Lastly, captives would be placed in large cauldrons with only their heads sticking out. Then hot scalding water or oil would be poured inside, boiling their skin away. Impalement was and is one of the most gruesome ways of dying imaginable. The arms and legs are strapped to the ground by pegs, rendering the person immobile. A large oiled wooden stake is gradually forced into the body, usually into the anus. They made sure that the stake wasn't too sharp, or the victim might die too rapidly from shock. There were many instances where victims were impaled through other bodily orifices, or through the abdomen or chest. Infants were sometimes impaled on the stake, forced through their mother's chests. When the pole was then raised upright, the victim was left to slide down the pole with their own weight. It could